John Harvill was the head football coach at Gaithersburg High School for 43 years. When he retired in 2000, he was the winningest coach in Maryland history with 312 wins. That included 2 state titles and 4 undefeated seasons. Harvill grew up in D.C. and played football, baseball, and basketball at McKinley Tech. He joined the Army out of high school. After 3 years in the military, Harvill enrolled at the University of Maryland, where he played football. After college, he played baseball professionally for 3 years in the Boston Red Sox organization, and later on in semi-pro sandlot leagues and the American Legion League. After getting his master's in education from the University of Maryland, he was hired as a teacher and assistant football coach at Gaithersburg High in 1950, eventually becoming head football coach in 1957. Harvill received several honors and awards, including being a charter member in the D.C. Home Plate Club Sandlot Hall of Fame, the Washington Post High School Football Coach of the Year, and in 1991 he was named the National High School Football Coach of the Year. While coaching, Harvill developed the statewide playoff system, which Maryland implemented in 1974. The Gaithersburg Trojans now play at John Harvill Stadium. Harvill passed away in 2013. We are proud to welcome John Harvill to the Montgomery County Sports Hall of Fame.
I'd like to introduce you to 2 of John's daughters, Carol Lockney and Molly Haynes. Welcome and thank you so much for being here on behalf of your father. So the easy question is, what does this mean to you, seeing your dad up here and a member of the Montgomery County Sports Hall of Fame?
Well, first of all, it's a part of our life since we were born, really, and his sports history. But then when we were really young, 5, 6, he started coaching in Montgomery County. And it was a part of our lives forever till he passed away. He loved Montgomery County. He loved Gaithersburg. He didn't want to go anywhere else.
And he had a chance to go other places.
He had, from colleges to some private schools in Virginia. He didn't want to go anywhere else. He loved Montgomery County. He loved Gaithersburg. And so it means the world to us. We just wish he were here, of course.
It's, I think of him as the consummate coach because he not only coached skills, but he taught young men what was important in life. He really felt that winning wasn't everything. He truly did believe that. And we were proud of him for that. He was one of the first pillars of the community for Gaithersburg. And it's great that he had all the wins that he had at Gaithersburg. But really and honestly, the young men, who are now older men now, who he coached, who would come back to see him and still see us often and talk about what he meant to them. And I'm sure that you all who have played sports feel the same way about your coaches, but it means so much to the family to know that he gave more than just a game or a season. He really gave values for life. So he was special in that way too.
One of those young men was going to AA. If one of you can kind of elaborate on that story.
When he had retired from coaching, as many of you know, most of you know, those relationships continue. And I had been talking about this one instance, and this was just one of the many things that he would do after he retired. One of his former players had to go to AA meetings, and he had no way to get there. Well, Dad and my mom would pick this individual up, drive him to the church where the AA meeting was held, sit outside and wait for him, and then drive him home. I mean, that was just, he wanted to help. He loved, as Tracy said, the kids. I mean, now these these fellows are 50, 60 years old. We still, because Dad always referred to them as his kids. And he always helped them, and he wanted them to have the right values in life. And that was part of who he was. Both he and our mom lived that.
And then there was another young man who had a birthday, and there was a story behind that.
Oh, that was a very special time. Molly and I were probably in junior high school at home, and Dad would once in a while, some of the football players would come home and have dinner with us. So this one evening, this one fella came home who we knew well on the football team, just a wonderful young man. He was older than we were, but he came home and had dinner. We sat in the dining room, and then my mom had baked a birthday cake for him. And we had a birthday celebration, sang happy birthday. And this young man cried. He had never had a birthday cake. He had never had a celebration like that in his life.
Wow.
And again, that was a touching story, and that's the way Dad really believed in all the young men through the years that he had coached. And that was a special time.
You said he was a consummate coach. Now, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of successful football coaches have to be 24/7. To be successful in football as a coach, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. We've heard the story, sleeping in offices and all that. But yet, your dad was a Renaissance man. He was not all about football.
He really was. Well, he was 24/7, but he was even more than that. He was a Renaissance man in that you wouldn't expect it, but he memorized long narrative poems. He had lots of poetry books. We grew up with him reading poetry to us. He loved history. He was such a proud World War II veteran. He loved the country, loved the young people that served in it, was devastated when he lost young men who had played for him during the Vietnam era. He loved a good joke. Bob Malloy, wherever you are, you know that. He and Dad had some good times together when they were traveling to conferences. He played a joke on a neighbor across the street from us one time, Uncle Max, and the mayor of Gaithersburg, Harold Morris. They decided that Max had gone on vacation, and Max was meticulous about his lawn. So Dad and Mr. Morris got their lawnmowers and set them at different levels and went and mowed his lawn in a checkerboard pattern. Unfortunately, Dad set his mower too low, and Uncle Max's grass died, and he had to have the front yard sodded. But Dad still laughed about it. Of course, it wasn't his yard. So he was a 24/7 coach, but when he came home, he was home with the family. He loved our mother, high school sweethearts. He loved us. We weren't boys, but he liked us. He still liked us.
And four granddaughters.
And he loved his granddaughters, loved his great-grandchildren. He would have loved his great-grandchildren that are here now, but he really was a family man too. So hidden beneath that veneer of sort of stern, serious, studying coach, he really was a gentle, loving, fun-loving person.
What does it mean when you go to Gaithersburg High School, you pass by the stadium, and there you see your dad's name?
We still go to the football games. We were just there the other night for a game. Oh, wow. It's such a sense of pride. And it's amazing that 60 years after we're out of high school, we still have such a close connection with the school and with the community. And really, it's all because of our dad. We ride on his coattails.
So I talked to one of you, and I can't remember which, and I'm sorry.
Carol.
I talked to Carol. He was in the hospital a lot from some injuries from all the sports he played all over the years. And can you share with us just some conversations that you had when he was in the hospital?
I think that was you, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
but you
Your
can say
talk. I don't know what it was. Your talk with Joe.
Dad had been, he had been a catcher, baseball, played football, and you all can imagine the kinds of injuries he had. Several knee replacements, kneecap removed, several hip replacements. In his later years, aortic valve replacement. He was pretty, as he would say, beat up. And during one of those hospital visits, I said to Dad, Dad, take yourself back to the very beginning, change one thing so that you don't go through all these hospitalizations. What would you change so that you don't have to be here? He said, not a second. So he had a good life. We're very proud of him. We are very appreciative that you all would honor him at this time, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
That's a great last word, and congratulations to the entire family. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Kelsey?